Hello, my babies. Long time no talk. Welcome back to Candidly Kendall, the podcast where I overshare on the internet. I feel like it's been a minute since I've posted one of these, so hi. Hello, how are we? I've honestly been down bad, but I do feel we are back on the way up, thank God. So let's just jump right into updates and what's been going on in my life. Okay, I don't like having this hood on actually. The hood was annoying me. Hood is off. I started doing Rover, which is like a pet sitting app. People can book you for dog walks, you can house sit, you can host animals in your home, and low key, I have been loving it. If you know anything about me, you know that I am an active gal. I love to go on a walk, so to pick up a pooch, honestly, ideal scenario. I've met so many sweet dogs, and I'm getting so emotionally attached to these dogs. I had a little long haired chihuahua named Pop Tart. I never thought I liked chihuahuas, but I think I am now a small dog converted. He was so sweet and cute. I had the sweetest lab named Luna, and most recently I took care of an Australian Shepherd for a week. It was so hard to give her back at the end of it. I was like, this is my bestie. She was just so beautiful and such a sweetheart. And now, today, I am getting two new dogs. Both of them are miniature poodles, and one of them is blind. My heart! The animal part of it I've really been enjoying. I honestly need to be making more income, so this is another side hustle that we are going to do. Recession indicator influencer becomes a dog walker. I also just have not been posting content because if you know me, you know that I have been on Accutane, so my skin has been the most atrocious it has ever been. I'm talking the worst, most deepest, severe breakouts I've ever had. So my self-esteem has taken a little bit of a hit. And obviously, with creating content, it is very face forward, so I have not been creating as much content, so I don't get as many brand deals and I don't get paid very much. So we are on Rover. So far, I'm really loving it. I love to have like a little pooch with me in my apartment and not have the full responsibility of owning a dog. So it's been great. I'm still relatively new, so I only have like 4 reviews. But once I start getting repeat clients and more reviews, I expect the requests to be more demanding. And then hopefully I can charge a bit more because Rover takes 20%, which is absolutely ridiculous. Say you have a dog for a week and get paid $500. You only get $400 because Rover is taking 20%. And even like on a walk, you get paid $20, you only get 15. I think that's pretty severe. I feel like there should be a cap. As I get more reviews, I'm definitely going to increase my rates, but gotta get some people first. On the Accutane note, it has taken me to my knees. I'm like so humiliated to show my face to my friends, let alone the public. Right now, I think, knock on wood, I think we are slowly exiting the purge phase. I'm still getting a little breakout here and there, but it was bad, bro. It was it was rough. There's quite literally nothing I can do but wait it out. And as Andrew Scott from Fleabag once said, it will pass. So I'm just trying to be as patient as possible and find other ways to make money. What else has been going on? Lena Dunham released her memoir, Famesick. I listened to the audiobook version of it because she narrates, and it was amazing. As if I couldn't find Lena Dunham even more relatable from Girls, this memoir took it there. Lena Dunham gets so much hate for quite literally no reason. I'm a Lena Dunham defender till the day I die. Can't comprehend the amount of hate she gets. It is so unfounded, and like, guys, we have so many bigger fish to fry. Let's look at our government. Let's look at the Epstein files. Like, hello, Lena Dunham is not the problem. Anyway, I binged her memoir in a week. I loved it. I'd highly recommend. In her memoir, she talks a lot about the creation of Girls and what her experience was like behind the scenes, which inspired me to rewatch Girls. And if you aren't familiar with the show Girls, it's on HBO. About 4 friends in their 20s in their life navigating New York City. They're all problematic in their own ways, but also so lovable. It's like sort of comparable to Sex and the City, as in it's so relatable, but like way less glamorized, way more realistic. Lena Dunham's character Hannah lived in Greenpoint, and I live in Williamsburg, so Greenpoint is like right above Williamsburg. I am there every day. It just takes it that much further to the relatability to see my subway stops. There's a bookstore she's at in an episode, which is like my bookstore. When I was looking for an apartment, I literally looked for one on India Street, which is where Hannah Horvath's apartment was. Crazy. So many just views of my daily life that are in a show, which is so cool. The last last time I watched Girls was in my early 20s, and now that I'm in my later 20s, I have such a different perspective on it. It's interesting how the show's impact hits different at different stages of my life. In my early 20s, I remember it feeling very erratic, very stressful, and now it feels wholly relatable, still chaotic, but not in a way that overwhelms me. Lena Dunham's writing is impeccable, as most of us know. It's a great show with complex characters and relatable storylines. If you're familiar with the episode One Man's Trash, I've sort of been having a little situation of my own like that recently in my dating life. Except this man wasn't very nice at all. Did not care about me in the slightest. This man I was seeing, I don't think he cares if I live or die. So you know what? I'm gonna talk openly about my experience. He definitely did not care about me to watch one of my podcast episodes and hear what I have to say. So fuck it. If you're not familiar with this episode, Hannah Horvath sort of wholesomely bumps into this guy who ends up to be a 40-something doctor, and they have this sort of whirlwind few-day fling. She goes to his apartment, which happens to be a brownstone. So beautiful, so rich. He's super hot. He has all of these really nice things. He has sort of like this quieter, more luxurious way of life. They have amazing sex, and he just really takes care of her, which at this part of her storyline is not something she's used to. All of her romantic interests are sort of abusive and just really messy. So to have this older gentleman really care for her, stroke her hair, cook her food, just do all these really sweet things, it like sort of stops Hannah in her tracks. And it sort of seems like this is the kind of life that Hannah has never considered to be a possibility for herself. So to be fully immersed in it for a few days, she considers like, yeah, maybe I actually do want this kind of peaceful life. But as the episode goes on and there are more interactions between these two, the facade sort of ends. They don't seem to be truly hearing one another, and Hannah can be a little bit self-centered and think her problems are bigger than other people's, as most 20-year-olds feel. The haze from these few days fades away and they just go back to their regular lives. He was separated from his wife, currently getting a divorce, and likely not emotionally available to start a relationship with a 20-something-year-old who is emotionally erratic. You sense a mutual understanding of when the dynamic shifts and when they realize that this isn't going any further and they can't give each other what one another is looking for. This was a favorite episode of mine back when I watched Girls. In my early 20s, I thought it was so hot, so steamy, so dreamy. But now, in my late 20s, it's hitting a little bit different in the sense that I have experienced something very similar to her. So let me tell you a little bit about it. I was seeing this older gentleman who is very successful, lived a very, very nice lifestyle, has a very expensive apartment, felt glamorous, it felt easy. It was exciting. I felt like he knew what to do and he did it. You know, as a hyper independent girl who has done it all herself this entire time, it feels really nice to be taken care of, even just for a night. I felt comfortable. I felt relaxed. It was very nice. As we continued the dynamic, it became pretty clear that either he wasn't actually interested in something long-term or just not with me. I did maintain my boundaries, but there was definitely some push and pull where I'd maintain my boundaries, but I would bend a little bit, and I kept engaging with it and enduring some of the more low-effort interactions. And guys, the red flags were there from the start. Just based off an older gentleman being single and very rich, like, it's likely he's a bachelor. If this was happening to my friend, I would yell at her and say, "Stand up, bitch." Like, do not accept this behavior, and that is what I've come to, thankfully. I always knew that is what it was, but I finally came to my senses enough to not pursue this any further. The more and more we would see each other, the less I felt he cared about me or cared to get to know me at all. And of course, I want my life partner to be someone who cares about me. Shocker. It's one of those things that felt like a pipe dream from the start, but I still dreamed and was hopeful and open. I don't think that I am naive, but I do try and remain hopeful and optimistic, which I think can bite me in the butt a little bit. And similar to Hannah Horvath and her doctor, I think we've run our course. I haven't heard from him. So how was that? Probably. I'm not necessarily someone who really cares about money at all. I do want to live a comfortable life. I think as everyone does. I just want to feel like I can pay my rent and pay for groceries and maybe a vacation every few years and I'll be set. Like, I don't need to be ultra wealthy or anything, but to like have that experience, it's like, wow, it feels really exciting, and I feel like it hooks you on that lackluster behavior even more. Anyway, through enough spiraling and overthinking, I have finally set the mental boundary and moved on, and I'm feeling a lot better for it. The feeling leaving from this interaction and overall my like dating efforts from the past year is sort of my sadness that none of these potential partners seem to genuinely want to get to know me and know my perspectives and appreciate them. I was talking with my therapist, and again, I don't think it's all men, all right? I don't think it's all men, but I think a lot of men aren't socialized to like dig deeper about the other person or to really deeply, authentically try and get to know another. And I'm certainly someone within dating who feels shy and more reserved, and it's going to take time. Like, I'm reserved with my friends. Few people know me deeply, very few, and it took a long time to get there. So yeah, I think my person will be patient in getting to know me and interested and kind. So I look forward to hopefully that one day that happening. But for this moment, I am happy to come back to myself and refocus on myself and not care what some older gentleman thinks of me. On sort of a similar note, I've been having a lot of musings about how I like to live my life, and frankly, guys, I'm a bit of a loner. I've been this way for a very long time. More often than not, I prefer my own company than anyone else's. And that's not a slight against anyone else, that's just sort of how my brain is wired. I don't feel like I can truly relax and be myself unless I'm alone. And of course, this stems from childhood trauma and all those fun things, but also just my temperament. Quite calm, I'm quite peaceful, so I really feel that deeply when I'm by myself. And I know for a lot of people that sounds sad and lonely, but I am so not lonely. Like, yes, I'm a loner, but I'm not lonely. And I also love people. I love interacting with people. I go to a party, I am chatting it up with everyone. My social time is my social time, but I always need to come back to my alone time. It's where I recalibrate, it's where I relax, and it's honestly a lot of the times that I enjoy the most. I think often there's like a very intense societal pressure to like be hanging out with people all the time, and that's just not me personally. And like, whatever works for everyone else is fantastic, but this is just what works for me. A lot of my closest people in my life, my sisters, my besties, they're just a text away, and like, I'm texting with people often, but tons of in-person hanging out activities doesn't quite work for me. I feel like I'm usually expending more energy than I am receiving, and in typical introvert fashion, I just feel a bit drained. So I've sort of been contemplating how that maybe interacts with my dating life and my disinterest almost in finding a romantic partner. And that's just, for me, my dating interest comes in waves, so we're definitely in a low point where I'm not feeling very interested. But it does make me think of, if I do have a future partner, they're going to have to be pretty independent, pretty self-sufficient, self-soothing 1000%. I do not like having the responsibility of soothing other people. I have played that role my entire life within my family. I don't want to do it for my partner. Of course, I'm going to be supportive and grain of salt with all of this, but you understand what I'm saying. I feel like for a long time, I felt very ashamed of my lonerism when I had roommates. They would be like very angry at me for not wanting to spend a lot of time with them, or when I would like deny social hangouts, they would be upset. As I've been living alone, I've just sort of have been accepting this part of me, and it's not a bad thing. Just because it's different from what other people like, it doesn't make it bad. If it makes me happy and feel at peace, then that is what's important. All right. Next, I've been rewatching The Great British Baking Show. I used to love that show like 10 years ago, and then I don't know, I probably watched it too much and got sick of it, but for whatever reason, I've revisited it, and it is so wholesome. I'm literally obsessed with the contestants, with the judges, with the hosts. Do you ever watch something and think, well, I could do that? That's how I feel about The Great British Baking Show. I think you can throw me in the tent and I will just execute everything flawlessly with time to spare. Even though, logically, I know the bakers in these tents are very talented bakers, far past my expertise, especially in these later seasons, I feel like it's straying a bit away from home bakers and like these people are bordering on semi-professional. I do think I am artistic and I would probably strive in that area, but in terms of my actual bakes, I don't know how flavorful they would be, and I would most certainly have some soggy bottoms. Love Great British Baking Show. I recently have volunteered for an organization called For Goodness Cakes, where you make celebratory cakes for children in need in foster care. I've done 2 cakes so far. One was just a plain nondescript birthday cake, and then my most recent one was for a 13-year-old boy who loves Star Wars, so I made him a Star Wars cake. And it has just been such a fun way to give back, and I get to bake and create, and it's just been the best. Some other drug-related updates. I have been trying Wellbutrin. A few years ago, you may know that I started Prozac, which is an SSRI, an antidepressant. It was absolutely life-changing for me and my CPTSD and my depression. My life has never been better since when I've been medicated. And now that I have come to a good place with that, I have sort of refocused on where else I have been mentally struggling, and a big part of that is my ADHD, my inability to focus, my inability to remember, my lack of energy. I haven't been noticing anything major, like with a drug like Adderall, you take a pill and you're like you're jolted awake and suddenly very efficient at things. Wellbutrin is a bit less drastic and you gradually work it up in your system. It's not like you take the pill and you feel something. Yeah, wasn't noticing really any major like improvements, but then I met with my psychiatrist a few days ago and I was like, oh, actually my sleep has been better, and also I haven't taken a nap in a really long time. Those sort of sound like small things, but my naps would ruin my sleep because I'd be so exhausted around 1 p.m., 2 p.m. I take a nap and then I can't sleep. Things of that nature. So I'm going to continue to stay on it for the summer and see how that pans out. But yeah, more drug updates. Also, sorry guys, speaking of ADHD, I feel like this episode is all over the place. I just have a random list of stuff I want to talk about. I do feel like my style is changing a little bit as I'm entering my late 20s. I used to love my miniskirts and my platform boots, and now I'm just really wanting to wear stuff that's comfortable and I don't have to worry about my butt poking out, or like, I just want to be comfortable and chic. In my early 20s, I feel like I was very classically gothic or just like more out there with it. I sort of want to be a little bit more refined. I'm thinking the Olsen twins x Gabriette, like still very cunty, but also sort of messy and undone. My complexion and my natural hair is a lot like the Olsen twins. It's sort of wavy, it's thick, it's this like dirty, ashy blonde. And also this is probably just the transition into warmer weather. I hate using heat on my hair when it's warm. Good hair will last a day because I get sweaty and it's humid and poof, just doesn't last. So I want to wear my hair its natural texture. It's just sort of wavy. I just want to try a little bit less with my appearance. Sensing some style shifts. We'll see what occurs in my wardrobe. James Charles is back at it again, doing some stupid, inappropriate shit. James Charles has once again done something horrible. Is anyone surprised? I know I'm not. Before I jump into this, I want to say that I am a James Charles hater number 1. He literally blocked me on TikTok. Not that I'm one to leave hate comments, but I think it was 2020 or 2021, but when his like predatory behavior was exposed, he posted like a crumble cookie review and I wrote no, and he blocked me. Too good. The man is outrageous. He takes no accountability. How he has 40 million followers, I don't know. If you don't know who James Charles is, he was like one of the first male beauty influencers. I don't know why I did that for male beauty influencers. I don't know if he went on Ellen, but he was like amazing in the 2010s. Like everyone was amazed by James Charles, and then all this shitty stuff came out about him. Anyway, so this drama, essentially someone sent him a DM and was like, hey, I just got let go from American Airlines. I'm really struggling. Like, would you consider donating or sending me money or like sharing my GoFundMe or something along those lines? Do I think anyone is obligated to give another person money? No, of course I do not. But James proceeded to make a video laughing at this request, saying, why don't you get a job like everyone else? Like, just the most out of touch reaction that you could ever imagine. It was just such an inappropriate response to this DM and really shined a light on how out of touch James is. Essentially putting this person on blast who is going through a hard time and like just reached out for some support. And of course, James did something shitty. Like, are we surprised? Beyond the fact that James is shitty and it doesn't surprise me that he did this, I want to shine a light on maybe one of the reasons why he did this. I haven't seen anyone else talk about this, but from the influencer perspective, I think people get very blinded by content culture. They are always looking for a moment in their life to make some content about, and reacting to comments or DMs is often one of those moments. Of course, this example is completely out of touch, and anyone in their right mind would know not to do this. And I don't want to give James any credit at all. I just want to make an observation about content culture and why I think he made the video. I think he thought people would support him, or it would stir up some controversy or something along those lines. I just think it's an interesting societal anecdote that we are seeing as more people become creators, and it's really an industry now. Crazy. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about, I feel like never know where this podcast is gonna go. I'm just jumping all over the place. I have a new goal for myself, and it's to let myself be bored. So many of us are addicted to our phones, me included. I'm addicted to short form content. I'm addicted to always hearing something. I'm watching TV and I have my laptop and I have my phone, and I'm just always on a screen. First thing I do in the morning, I check my phone, and this constant stream of screens and media and quick little dopamine hits, I feel like it's really numbing me. I feel like it numbs my creativity. I feel like it's making me stupider, more stupid. The only time that I am without a device is when I am sleeping or in the shower. I need to let myself be bored so I can start creating some of my own thoughts and feelings. We're getting dumb, people, and I want to actively combat it. I know that it won't be easy because technology addiction is real. I do feel it's really necessary, and I want to catch it as early as I can. I think it will be a painful process to make the cognitive decision to not be consuming some form of digital media, especially because a lot of my job, both being a content creator and a social media manager for small businesses, relies a lot on my ability to know what's happening in the social sphere and be very locked into trends. But for myself mentally, I need to take a little bit of a step back. So how am I going to do this? I am going to break the loop. On my walks recently, I just don't wear headphones. I just listen to the sounds around me, which can be very peaceful. Eventually, I want to not take my phone out on a walk. I will survive. I know where my apartment is. I have my keys, and that's all I need. This is hopefully going to be a lifestyle change, so it's going to be slow to incorporate, and that's fine, but I have to make those choices. Eventually, my mind will become accustomed to the lack of noise and the lack of stimuli. Like I've mentioned before, I want to get back into creating art, physical art, like paintings and drawings and reading, and one of the major things that is holding me back is just doom scrolling on my goddamn phone. So that's one of my goals for this summer and moving forward. And yeah, that is the end of the podcast, the video. Thank you guys for hanging with me all the way to the end if you've made it this far. In terms of my songs of the week, I've been listening to a lot of Radiohead recently. Anyone Can Play Guitar, Silk, Bones, Nice Dream. You know the vibes. I love you guys. I hope you are doing well. And if you are listening to this on a streaming platform, please rate me 5 stars. If you're here on YouTube, leave me a comment, a like, you know what to do. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.